If you know me in real life and you see this, no you didn't. Don't talk to me about it. Hi, my name is Charity, you can call me Chaz. I'm the person who does the Animal Crossing Nancy Drew series, which you might see floating around the internet. It just became kind of a little project that I decided to do because I had Animal Crossing and I love Nancy Drew and I was bored. Today I'm going to be walking through how I kind of set up the whole thing, and you know, I'm going to be making Warnings at Waverly Academy, which is such a good game. Such a good game. If you've seen my other games, I think that there's been 20 of them so far, which is absolutely insane. At the start I was like, yeah, I'll post like 2 of them and then that'll be it, which, you know, was stupid, but yeah. So I've actually been preparing for this Warnings at Waverly since I did Stay Tuned for Danger, believe it or not. I literally, so you can make a couple of outfits in Animal Crossing for your character to wear, and I made them after I did Stay Tuned for Danger, which is literally the second game. So that's a bit crazy. Yeah, basically let's get into it. This is my Switch. It's a Switch Lite and it's in the pink color because pink is cute. So yeah, let's go. So this is my island. I'm really proud of it. Is it finished? No, but I don't think that it necessarily needs to be finished. I think that it being a work in progress is actually the fun of the game. So we're just going to go down to the airport and they're going to take us to Harv's Island. So this is Harv's Island, and little Harv, he's just an NPC. So basically this is a photo studio. So it's completely separate to the rest of the game, and you can use any wallpapers, floorings, furniture, clothing, anything that you've ever catalogued in the entire game, you can use it here. So this room is still set up from when I did Ransom of the 7 Ships. You can see over in this corner is where I did Best. And then on the other side of the room you can kind of see where I did Matt from Haunting of Castle Malloy. So we're just going to head into this back room and start our Waverly setup. So this room is still set up from Ransom of the 7 Ships as where George would sit. So we're just going to clear that up and we'll put up a wallpaper and some flooring and a rug. Next we're just going to put some art up on the wall. So we're going to put up this Halloween poster, a Halloween garland, and this classical art piece. There's no wallpapers that fit Mel's room exactly, so we're just going to work with what we've got, trying to match her vibe more so than what is actually in the game. Next we're just going to put out a table and we're going to put a golden candelabra as well as a book. We're just going to put out a side table and the cello. And another side table. What's on that side table? It looks like a pair of shoes, so we're going to put that there. So in Animal Crossing you can customize certain aspects of some furniture, so that's what we're going to do with this bed. Now in the normal game on your island it does cost customization kits, but on Harv's Island it doesn't cost anything, which is like a really great reason to be using Harv's Island for this project. So we're going to change our appearance to look like Mel. Pale skin, check. We're going to put on some pigtails and black hair. We can't do streaks in the game, but I think black is a good hair color for her. And I'm pretty random with the eye shape. We're going to put on grey eyes, and then we can put my character back in her spot and change the wardrobe. So Mel wears a tuxedo jacket and pants, as well as some boots, and we're going to put a pink bow in her hair. So now we're all ready to take a photo. I like to do different reactions to display the personality of each character, and that's it, that's Mel. So we're going to move to a different room and we're going to set up for Leela in the rec room. So this room was still set up from where I put the monkey in Ransom of the 7 Ships, but there aren't any good carpet options in Animal Crossing, so we're going to put out a couple of rugs to cover the floor and just a plain, simple wall. But I actually want to utilize that window, so what we're going to do is we're going to move the carpet so that we can use the other corner of the room. So now we're just going to put out some furniture. We're going to put out a round table, and on that table we're going to put a picture of Megan. So for Megan we're going to use fuchsia, and we're going to put a little game set behind. And then we don't have air hockey in Animal Crossing. We're just going to put a foosball table, and then we also have a dart machine, which is pretty cool. And obviously the dart machine isn't in that spot within Warnings at Waverly Academy, but I really like to fit as many items into the shot as I can, just to give it a good vibe. Now we're going to change our appearance so we can look like Leela. So we're going to change the skin tone, the hairstyle, and the eyes I usually change for each character as well. Then we're going to choose an outfit. So I'm going to give Leela the Waverly sweater that I've created. This was one of the first custom designs that I did, and it doesn't look exactly like the Waverly sweatshirt, but it's close enough. So we're also going to put her in a black skirt and some sporty sneakers, and then we're good to take some photos. I really like the encouraging reaction, but it is very random when you're taking still shots, so I end up having to take quite a lot and then just pick the best. Now we can move on to the next room. In this room we're going to set up for Rachel. Currently it's still set up from when we did Kit's corner of the room in Castle Malloy, so we're just going to get rid of that. And like the other rooms, we're just going to choose a simple wall and some simple flooring. Also just put a rug down, and we're going to choose a bed. I really don't like how far away the wall is from the window, so what we're going to do is we're going to box in the space using some climbing walls that are turned around. I've done this in quite a few of my sets, and it just encloses the space a little bit and it makes it feel a little bit more cozy. We're just going to customize the pattern on the bed, and we can set up the rest of the room. A pennant for the wall, a bedside table with a lamp, and then we're also going to put out some cushions for Rachel to sit on, because you can't actually sit on the beds in this game, which is really like quite annoying, because there are a couple of characters that sit on their beds in this series and I can't have them sitting there. So we're going to use this stack of cushions and put the laptop on top of that, and then we're going to also put a cushion on the floor for Rachel to sit on. So now we're going to change Rachel's appearance, so blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm going to line up the shot, see how it looks, but I really want something at the end of the bed just to fill out the shot a little bit more, make it a little less plain. Then we're going to choose a reaction. But I forgot to change her outfit, which happens all the time. It's so annoying. So we're just going to use my other Waverly custom design and add a little mini skirt underneath that you can't see under the design, as well as some stockings and a pair of Mary Janes. She does wear a headband in the game, but in Animal Crossing there's really only one option for headbands and it's really not that cute, so let's not bother. And then we'll take a photo. And we're done. So now we can move on to doing Kareen's room. I don't really like to double up on the spaces that I use, but when I'm doing 7 photos in a 6-room house, you do have to kind of make things work. So we'll just put out a desk that looks very similar to hers. And then we're going to put some stuff up on the wall, so we've got a couple of little poster cards and this really cool space mobile that I am obsessed with. We're also going to put out a bed just because it might be in the shot, but I'm going to leave it at that pattern and not customize it. Next we're going to change our appearance so that we can look like Kareen. So darker skin tone, brown curly hair. Nice. I'm also just going to delete that cello because it was kind of in the way. Then we're going to put Kareen in a Waverly outfit with the Waverly sweater and a plaid skirt that comes with the game. And while it does look really long in the editor, when she sits down it looks a lot shorter, so that doesn't look so bad. But we're just missing something little, so we're going to put a little bin next to the desk. And now we're all ready to take a photo. She looks a bit sad in the game, so we're going to just do that reaction. And that's Kareen. For our last Waverly student, we're going to do Izzy, who is tied for my favourite character with Mel. And we're just going to put out a desk for her, which we're going to box in a little bit to make it look like a study cubicle with a couple of these simple panels that we're just going to customize. We're going to put out a chair. And also in the shop behind her there's a little ladder. And we're just going to pop a laptop on the table and some homework. And that's the setup. Now we're just going to change the appearance so it looks like Izzy. I wasn't really sure what hair to choose because there's not really anything that screams Izzy, but I decided to give her the same hair that we did with Kareen, which, you know, is a little bit ironic given that they're not really the best of friends within the context of the game. And we're just going to put her in a waistcoat and some pants. And I'm not going to worry about the shoes. And for this reaction we're going to choose showmanship. And that's all 5 Waverly girls done. If you've seen my other recreations, you'll know that I like to put Nancy in, so we're going to set up the piano room for her. And I was going to do it in this main room, but we're actually going to do it in the upstairs room just because I like the layout a little bit better, even though I was kind of playing around with some wallpapers down here. In this game, should I really be calling her Nancy or should I be calling her Becca? I was kind of toying around with what situation to put Nancy in because I do like to put her in a situation that she is in the game that to me is kind of iconic, and while I do really like the piano room, I would have loved to have done the United States map puzzle, which I might just add is such a rude puzzle for them to inflict upon me as a 10-year-old Australian. I'm extremely Americanized for an Australian, but at age 10 I had no idea what half of the US states were called, let alone where they were. And I'm just going to put this football rug on the floor in place of the Waverly crest because we really don't have anything that resembles that. If you played the game, I'm sure you'll remember the piano lamps in this room, which I absolutely adore. I think it's a great way to incorporate the puzzle. So we're just going to make a simple little piano design. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be recognizable. and then we can put that on the lamp. Nice. So now we're just going to dress up as Nancy. And one thing that you may or may not notice is that Nancy's design in Animal Crossing Nancy Drew is very similar to how I dress up my character, because, you know, it's my game and I'm going to do what I want, and it's up to me as Nancy Drew. So it's literally just a recoloration. Like, it's the same eyes, it's the same hairstyle, but yeah, I think it's cute. So line up the shot and take a pic. You know the scene where Nancy is climbing the tree after Casper the squirrel, and then once she looks down, she sees the Blackwood Society meeting? We're gonna do that. So we're just gonna put out some grass flooring, a garden wall, and we're gonna change the lighting as well when we take the photo. So we're just gonna change my appearance to look slightly more like the leader of the Blackwood Society, and we're gonna dress up in Jack's robe, which is the closest thing that we have to a blue cloak, and a little blue ninja hood. While you're on Harv's Island, you can also drop in villages that you currently have on your island, as well as any amiibo cards that you have. I don't currently have any amiibo cards, I'm getting some Sanrio ones, and I'm just gonna dress up all of these villages in a black robe and a black beanie. Additionally, if I'd done Izzy and Leela's dorm room in this, I definitely would have used a picture of Zell as the picture of Jacob, because it's the same character and you can't convince me otherwise. Now I'm just going to adjust them into a circle formation, change the lighting, and we'll take our final photo. And that's it. So thank you so much for coming along. Basically now I just choose the best images and I post them. But yeah, like, this has been really fun to film. Like, obviously I'm gonna do Shadow at the Water's Edge, which is in 2 games time, which has got Trail of the Twister, then Shadow at the Water's Edge, which I'm really excited to do. I hope this video turns out pretty decently. But I also have a little bit of a Q&A. So I set up like a little survey thing, so if you wanted to ask me anonymous questions, you could. And I've got 4 of them. So I'm just gonna answer them really quick. What was your first Nancy Drew game? I'm pretty sure it was the final scene, but it also might have been Message in a Haunted Mansion. I know that Message in a Haunted Mansion was definitely the first one that we finished. My sister introduced me to them when I was 6 years old. She's a few years older than me. It was a lot of like me watching her play, which, you know, I was 6 years old, I could barely read. Well, I mean, I was pretty like advanced for my reading level, or advanced for my age, and a lot of that was because I was reading the Nancy Drew books, because my mom grew up on them, so she has like a pretty decent collection, and then my sister got me into the games, and then the obsession just like started from there. It's a personality trait at this point, like, honestly. How long does it take to create for each game? Usually it takes a couple of hours. There is a lot of like research involved, because I have to look at the images from the game as well as what items I've got in Animal Crossing, so that I can, you know, like actually recreate it. You know, I try my best, and sets where I have an Animal Crossing villager in the set, like Whitney is Isis from Icicle Creek, Deli is the monkey from Ransom of the 7 Ships, and Deli in particular was really hard for me to get because it's not a super popular villager, so people aren't like selling him on Nookazon as much, and I searched. It took me like 3 or 4 days to get him after I got an empty slot on my island, so that was a bit of a chore, but you know, like, we got there in the end. And for that game in particular, I really felt like I needed to have a monkey villager, because like, who else is there? Best George, He Who Shall Not Be Named, and like, what, Cuckoo? What a game, am I right? I wasn't gonna dress up He Who Shall Not Be Named as the various characters that he plays throughout that game. R.I.P. Ransom of the 7 Ships. Anyway, what has been my favorite game to reproduce in Animal Crossing? Like, I just love all of the games so much that it's so hard to choose, like, even just like in general a favorite game, but like a favorite one to reproduce. Like, I honestly don't really have an answer. Like, I really enjoyed doing Haunted Carousel because I love Elliot Chen. He's one of my favorite characters, and I was really happy with how he turned out. And like, my bonus content for Secret of the Scarlet Hand, where I put Sunny in the museum, which I don't know, I love Sunny too. Can you see a trend with who I like? I don't know, I just love all of them. Like Curse of Blackmore Manor, that was really good. This one's been really fun because I liked doing the designs, which by the way will be up, like I'll post the designs, so if you want to like download them in the game you can, which hopefully that makes someone happy. Yeah, ultimately I don't think it's necessarily full games that I enjoy, but it's certain images from each one. I didn't really answer anything. Do I keep a dedicated section of my island for Nancy Drew? No. I do have sections on my island that I keep blank, so if I need to actually go back to my island and terraform, you might see me doing some of that in Shadow at the Water's Edge when I do that one. Like certain sections of my island blank so I can have it as a blank slate. But the only other part that I have that's dedicated to Nancy Drew is before I even started doing these reproductions, I had a leprechaun garden, and so I have like my own little leprechaun garden on my island just because I think that's such like a fun area of Haunting Castle Malloy, and you know, why not? It's my island, I'm gonna do what I want with it. Do you use one person for all the characters and just dress them up differently? I think I've already kind of answered this while I've actually been doing it, but yes. So you do have the option of having multiple characters on your island, but I decided not to. I don't want to have the room on my island for another person. Realistically, I'm not going to do much with them, and it's easy enough just to have the one person that I just dress up differently. The only time that it is a bit of a chore is like in Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon when I've got Frank and Joe sitting next to each other, and I can't have them in the same shot because I think I only have one person, so I can't have two people on the shot, and it's too difficult to edit, so I just end up putting them two images side by side, and people kind of get the gist. Same with Lou and Bill in White Wolf of Bicycle Creek. So yeah, that's basically all the questions that you guys had for me. The link for that, I'll put it in the description, but it's also floating around the internet. If you want to ask me more questions, I can answer them in my Shadow at the Water's Edge one, which will hopefully be coming up soon, and post a link to the final product, and I'll also post what my creator ID is for Animal Crossing. I've got Nancy, Cabu Cave, Danger by Design, Waverly, and yeah, like it's just been so much fun to do these, and thank you guys so much for your support. Yeah, so thank you. Oh, and just before I go, I also, before I started doing these, I decided that I wanted to do piano transcriptions of a bunch of the soundtracks, because I adore the soundtracks. Kevin Menthe, brilliant. Thomas Regin, brilliant. Matt Sayer, brilliant. Ryan Ricks, I have thoughts, but like, still good. The caliber is too high. But anyway, basically I decided that I wanted to do piano transcriptions of the soundtracks, and I've done like over 50 of them, and I used to be really more consistent, but these days I you know, am putting less out, but that's okay. So you can find all of that on MuseScore. My username there is ChazburstJazz. So yeah, if you play piano and you want to play some Nancy Drew songs, I have them for you. And while I'm not taking recommendations, but also if you want to like tell me what your favorite tracks are, and you know, I might take a look. But yeah, like that's basically it. Just gonna, you know, plug my music, because why not? Not that it's my music. You know what I mean. Yeah, so that's basically it. Have a great day. It's been really fun, and I'll see you soon for Shadow at the Water's Edge. Bye!